you know, they're very binary. It's like you want this or this. I think when you get into services, those conversations do get more complicated. So I would say, yeah, take a step back and know what can you specialize in based on what you already have. And if you really want to make a stretch to another area, following another trend that you're interested in, then it's probably going to take a significant investment in the type of expertise that, you know, we were just talking about. So to do that, it would be, like was said, the CompTIA, other organizations, basically take advantage of the training and certification that's out there, because that's really going to be the way to get it. And then focus on making sure that you have the best people and the best thought leadership in those areas where you want to focus. And then that will really help make the value proposition to your end customers best in class, right? Because that's how you differentiate yourself, is through the expertise, as opposed to trying to say, well, what are you interested in, and we can go figure that out. That's really not going to be possible in a service model.
So I think the importance of helping the channel move from a hardware-based, hardware sell approach into more of the services is clearly understand the likes of Intel and Dell and others in the market, because, you know, the differential of hardware is getting harder and harder to sell. So my view of moving into services, I think there's two approaches. I think we collectively need to look at the IT challenges and opportunities in the same way that we've looked at and addressed the telco challenge. Telco has started, and their business model has always been around service-based, utility-based offering. They don't focus so much on the hardware. Yes, the hardware is important because the hardware delivers against that service proposition. But the whole sell model, the pricing model, the delivery model, the support model, the maintenance, the upgrade, is all based around the service, not necessarily based around the hardware. But yet, what do we all do? We all upgrade our phones, because we all like to have the hardware that delivers against the service proposition. So I think that's point one, and kind of leading on to that, I think we need to help the industry talk to the ongoing needs of what will deliver a service utility. So we need to look more at the operational expenditure. We need to look at the OpEx, whether that's with a manageability lens, or a security lens, or a maintenance lens. We need to look at the cost of deploying IT from an OpEx basis, because that will support a services mentality. Today and historically, we've still approached it from a CapEx, from a capital expenditure. So again, that's collectively things like Dell and Intel need to work and help you with. It's giving you the tools and the language and the examples and the proof points more so to talk to the operational expenditure needs of our companies that we sell to.
Okay, thanks, Rich. Before we go on, has anyone got any questions from the panel? Moments of silence. Right, I'll carry on.
Do you want to ask us about skis or
fingers dropping off? There's obviously it's a difficult economy at the moment. What, in your opinion, are some of the obstacles that are facing the channel at the moment, and what sort of advice would you give to resellers out there to overcome these obstacles, really? Kathleen, we'll start with you this time.
I think, just a surprise. I think credit is, you know, we can't really pretend that that's over, right? I think that there's still a tightening out there, and you know, frankly, this is where I'd love this to be interactive, because part of my role is to understand what those challenges are so that we can evolve our program elements to be effective and help the channel. So I certainly hope, you know, people speak up in the room and comment, let us know what we're missing off or what you're feeling more from a challenge standpoint. But from talking to different resellers across Europe, credit and ability of getting, you know, easy financing, quick financing is definitely still a challenge. I mean, some of the things we've done, for example, around zero financing offers. So on certain servers and virtualization products, we've done zero financing or low financing over certain years. So we've put those offers out, and we've seen a good feedback. So we know that they resonated with the reseller community when we did that. I think from a credit standpoint, distribution, obviously, that's one of the benefits of distribution, and we've struck distribution relationships in certain countries because we see that as an opportunity for the resellers that need that, right? So we understand that if we can't provide that ourselves, then, you know, how can we bring that to the table so that we still can have that type of relationship with the resellers? I think transitioning also to how do you have conversations with your end customers where you can really demonstrate the value of IT spend, because I think the challenge that people in IT are having is how to be seen as at the table driving the business instead of just generating cost. So, you know, there are some stats on just the percent of IT budgets going just to do the maintenance. So, you know, and if you can build a story around that with your end customers so that they can have a win-win conversation internally with their business leaders, with their board around adopting some of these new technologies, because it allows the money to be focused on IT innovation, i.e. business innovations for the good of that company's growth, as opposed to always needing more budget and help and resources just to maintain everything. I think that's another great area to start talking about and using that language and talking with the customers, right, and the IT people within the organizations that you're all talking to. But I'd really love to hear from the audience on that one, since those are the challenges I think all of us are hoping to understand better and take away from the conference.
We have a question over there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Do you want me just to shout?
I
Yes.
think so.
Yeah, I just want to follow up on that point, and to do with CapEx and OpEx. Oh, so to do with CapEx and OpEx, that we, for example, we've sold some, or rather we're renting some servers to our clients, and we are buying those servers, and then they're just paying a monthly fee to use the service. Brilliant. I went to the bank to say, you know, hey, we're doing this. What we'd like is a little pot of money, and from which we can draw on and just have a fund. And they said, oh, well, that'll be an overdraft, sir, and that will require your house. So that was the end of that conversation. We have a credit facility with Dell, so, you know, let's say there's 20 grand or something there, but that's a credit facility for buying where we're paying within 30 days. If we want a credit facility that would just enable us to hire, purchase, or rent those servers, and we pay for those servers over 3 years, I don't think that facility exists unless I've missed a trick. I just would like your comments on whether the business model that's changing for us as resellers, where customers, you say to customers, would you like to have no capital expenditure? And you know, you've got their attention. They're no longer sort of glazed over. They're engaged, and so we then spend our money buying those things to rent. And obviously, being able to pass that further up the line would be a great help for us with our cash.
Who would like to answer that first? Kathy?
I mean, just in response, I think that's really good feedback on that. And I know we have DFS. We work very closely with Dell Financial Services, which is probably the organization that you worked with, or any of you would work with if you're looking at that type of an opportunity. You know, what I've seen is we haven't done as good of a job communicating what the options are, and so we've been trying actually to bring the people that manage that part of the offering, which are they're separate from, it's a separate part of Dell, bring them in and have them be kind of virtually adjacent to my team and to the sales team to bring the information out there, because I think we probably have more creative opportunities when you talk directly to a DFS person, and I think the sales team hasn't yet absorbed all that information. So I think part of it is just a challenge for us to get those options out. I can't say I know specifically whether or not we have a model like you just described, but I think what this tells me is we need to make sure that the sales teams know who to bring in from a point of contact to have a deeper conversation, right? If those types of offerings are what you want to hear, you want to be able to talk about, right? Which are definitely different from the day-to-day conversations around what would a virtualization solution look like, right? So that's really good. I think that's an area, but you're not the only one. I mean, we definitely hear more help and more creativity around the financing offers, right? And these lease models, things like that. And I know we do offer some, so you just gave that example, but you want to contact, anyone in the team directly for your personal, for your situation, I think that'd be great. I'd love to take that back after, what your specific recommendation or proposal would be and get it to the people in the DFS organization and see. Yeah.
But I sort of support that point. I also think it's an evolution of the business model. So, when we were very driven around the hardware side of the solution, it's very easy to associate financing, maintenance, warranty, support, insurance against something you can feel and touch and put your hands around. As we move to a service delivery offering, it's very hard to associate those criteria against something that you may not even control the hardware. But yet you are looking to essentially a hardware vendor to help you address that. So I think, as Kathy said, you're asking the right questions. I think the industry collectively, including the finance support, needs to now work and provide solutions to address the new challenges.
Right,
yeah, it's an interesting point. I guess for our customer base, we kind of see a slightly different spin on that, where it's often hard to be able to sell hardware as a service quite in that way. I think it's quite innovative, by the way. Getting that finance opportunity to be able to offer in that way obviously presents an industry challenge, it sounds like. I'm lucky for one that I am a software-based industry. It's been a little bit easier for us to not have to worry about the nuts and bolts part of it, and we've always tried to articulate our offerings around the ability to kind of self-finance, so that people didn't pay for our software up front, they paid for it over time. It was one of the reasons why our business was very successful in the space. And what we've seen happen for our customers, for their way of dealing with this, is that they're all about trying to own every single part of the relationship with their customer. They're really trying to make sure that that customer comes to them for absolutely everything. So they're wrapping them into monthly recurring revenue streams and saying, okay, for a fixed fee per month, I'm going to be offering every single part of your service. So I'm going to fix any problems you have with your machines. I'm going to do regular maintenance for them. I'm going to take care of your security. I'm going to manage your complete IT infrastructure, so many IT outsourcing. And those businesses that have done that find that they don't therefore get into such complex conversations with their customers about their hardware choices. So we've got to make these hardware choices for you because these are going to affect us more than they are you. We're actually taking on board the risk of how you, for your IT environment, because we're charging you a fixed fee. And we're accepting the risk for doing that. Then we have to have more influence in what you're going to buy and what you're going to use, so we can make sure we specify best of breed hardware that's going to be much more reliable. We can make sure that you're changing that and keeping an eye on the future when it's going to need to be replaced, and playing with you in a much more strategic way than if we just wait until you ring us up and say, oh, I think our server's fallen over, can we have a new one, please? And so certainly those customers of ours that have operated in that model for a while now, they don't face that challenge as much, and that's helped them to be far more competitive in the space. So that's one way we've seen where that adoption of the services model and that managed services approach has helped them to sidestep some of those issues.
Any more questions? Okay. Just if I can see a show of hands, how many people want vendors to do more when it comes to credit for the channel? How many think they're doing enough? No. That's interesting. Final